What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about XPR network. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, okay? Looking at the daily RSI here just right away, you can see that we are probably at an area that we would expect to find support, right? After all, we've been finding support here in this relative area on this trend line since July of 2024. That's a crazy, crazy trend, man. That's a long trend on a daily RSI. Likely we do not just find support here, but get into the overbought zone. A movement like that could definitely trigger some higher prices. The first time that you bounced off this line and went to the overbought zone, this was the move that ensued. The second time that happened, this was the move that ensued. Now, just because you bounce off this line, does that mean that you're getting started right now? No, it just means maybe that you've stopped moving down, right? So taking that interpretation as it is, maybe we've just stopped moving down. We're getting ready to move up, but it might not happen yet, right? This last consolidation phase lasted from the high, the relative high of the move. I guess the actual high was here, but the high of the move. By this high here, you were in the consolidation phase. This high here, this was the end of the move. I think it's clear, right? So to the breakout point here. So that took 49 days, right? From here, from the high of the move here, to where we are, we're at about 20 days. So about half, not even halfway to what we saw last time. Now, I do assume that this consolidation phase here will be longer than this consolidation phase here. I don't assume this one is going to last 49 bars, but with this kind of scope, I wouldn't be surprised, maybe if it lasts 30 bars, if it at least lasts 28 or 25 bars, maybe it could last 35 bars. But the reality is XPR could continue to consolidate until the end of February. I don't think it will. I think that you'll be breaking out sooner than later. Who am I to judge? But again, something that might suggest a little bit more time at the very least, right? If you look at the pattern here, lower highs, lower lows, you've got this broadening top kind of pattern, right? It's like a broadening wedge. All it would take is a little push, just a little push. Let's see, high to low. Yeah. Right above the golden ratio there at 0.004665. Right there, a little push up is all it would take to break out of this and then also to get back above your golden ratio, which would be a rather suggestive sign that you're ready to see new relative highs, okay? And I think you will. It's just, are you on your way there today? I don't know. I mean, the more I look at this, the more I'm like, it might be closer than I originally thought. You might not actually, I know you're only at 20 days now. Maybe you don't even make it to 25 days, but I didn't expect it to be this soon. But damn, man. Going back to the RSI, this is what makes me think you have a little bit more time. Just because you found support here doesn't mean you're ready to rip yet. You probably do consolidate a little bit more just in reference to this. But again, this consolidation phase was longer than what I expect this to be. So it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. I would expect by the end of the month, February, I would expect that you're at least around your all-time highs, or these highs. I don't know if it's your all-time highs. Is it your all-time highs? No. I would expect that you're at least around these relative highs, if not above them, by the end of February, right? If not, it's not a big deal. It's kind of hard to tell when you're going to break out. By price, it looks like you are on the cusp of doing that. By way of the RSI, I would say you're ready to stop moving down, but are you ready to break out yet? I don't know. Until you get above the 60 on the RSI, I'm not really looking for breakout behavior, right? So I think you have a little bit of ways to go before that happens. Let's look for prices beyond just like this breakout. Let's look for something else that might make sense. Let's see. I mean, here was your closing high right at the 886, and the 886 is the final fib retracement before you see the extensions. So I guess that's a good number to go for. Let's say 0.006. Let's say 0.0069 because it just rolls off the tongue better, right? 0.0069. Break above that on a daily aspect, and I'll be convinced that you are, in a very short amount of time, working your way up to prices that are probably at 2 cents or higher, okay? You're at $0.0041 right now, okay? I'm talking about 2 cents or higher come online once you break above 0.00684 or just 0.0069, okay? So look for that. And validate everything I'm saying by breaking below 0.0027, though I don't even think you go down there, let alone break down there, right? But if you do, it's okay. It's okay if you go down there. You're still getting higher lows. It's not a problem. It's just a problem if you break it. And even then, it's not a problem. It's more of a obstacle. You'll have to consolidate more before you come up to these prices, right? But I don't think that's going to happen. I think more likely than not, you're in a rather bullish phase here. Moved up a little bit. consolidated, moved up a little bit, consolidated. I'm sure you're going to move up a little bit more, and then maybe we see a more dramatic phase of consolidation. Looking at this overall chart from a high to a low, you tipped your golden ratio. Yes. What are you doing here? Okay, cool. Yeah, I like this. I actually like this a lot. I think I do this every single time. I'll like do some short-term analysis, and then once it comes to the weekly, once I see this, I'm like, this is actually a really good look. I always think it's a good look, but this certifies it, man, or at least it helps certify it to me. Rejecting your golden ratio area and then finding support on your 382 is very classic behavior when working your way higher. Okay, it's very common productive behavior in the fibs. I can hear some people already being like, well, it didn't find support at the 382. It found support way down here. Yeah, it did, but it wicked down there. It closed this day here at the 382. It opened this day here. I think it's supported at the 382 personally. I see that as supported the 382, right? But who am I to say? You know, this also I would say is resistance, but you wicked right at it. You know, tomato, I don't know, whatever fits. But it does look, regardless of the wick, how low that came, it does look like there is some significance at least coming here, and that's all we're looking for, is a little significance in this area to suggest that you're going to find significance in this area. So by the way of this fib, I would say once you break above the 0.5, that would be time to get excited for this. So the other fib, it was like 0.0069, but this fib would tell us it's about half a cent, you guys. You get above about 0.00525, that would be enough. I would say if you can move that line down, get above 0.00525, get above that line, and that's when it's time to start getting excited for new highs relative to this. We don't even have to wait for 0.0069. The targets that you're going to go for on this aspect would be about 1.95 cents. Sorry, a little bit lower. 1.88 cents to about 3 cents. 1.88 cents to about 3 cents. You're at $0.004 now. That would give you a price growth of about a 4.6x to a 7.2x. That's not bad, man. That's outperforming most coins here in this market, and I definitely assume that you're going to do that. I want to be clear again before I end the video, okay? This maneuver that you're doing right now, finding resistance at the 236, consolidating like this, moving all the way up to your golden ratio. First off, you didn't even do that. You consolidated your 236, you found resistance at your 382, and then came back down to your 236, and then went up to your golden ratio. That's a common maneuver in itself. Extrapolated from that, finding support at the 382 or the 0.5, and then moving up, that's a very common maneuver as well. Where you go to next would be the 786 to the 886. You've respected this range so well, I wouldn't be surprised at all, and I would very much expect that by the end of this next move, sometime in... man, I want to say sometime by the end of March, but truthfully, man, looking at this, I don't know. I don't think it'll be the end of March that you're here, man. I think it'll be the beginning of March. I bet by like the 10th of March, if not even potentially by the end of this year, by the end of this month of February, you could be up there, which is a total difference than what I thought in the beginning of the video. But just looking at this now, you really do look ready. It depends. Sometimes when you break out, you still like work your way up until you actually get to the high, and then you break out. You know what I mean? Like you might pick up the pace a little bit, but that can still take time. And before you know it, it's the beginning of March. You're moving up at a nice pace, but then it's like March 5th, and then you break out, and then you go to those target areas that we were talking about, and then it is the end of March. So I really want to wait and see how this thing breaks out before I make any kind of timing predictions. But at the moment, I could see this happening. I could see you being above 2 cents, around 3 cents by the end of February. I can see it, but I'll see it more with what next week brings, right? If next week goes by and we just move sideways, well, guess what? We've broken out of this downtrend. You know what I mean? So, and if we've broken out of this downtrend and all we're doing is moving sideways, well, we're likely not going to be at these targets by the end of the month, right? If we break out of this downtrend and we get an explosive move, we will likely be at 2 to 3 cents by the end of the month. I hope that's all clear. So 2 to 3 cents, all that to say, that's the real next target area to focus on. We can really start getting excited about that whenever we get above about half a cent there, 0.005, what was it, 0.00525, that's what it was. Getting above that will be an exciting number. I've got nothing else, and that's actually right around this daily high close too, right? Like literally right there. So I might adjust it one more time. Let's say, because 0.00525, that is where the 0.5 is of this overall fib retracement here, I believe, right? No, it's this. How did I do it the last time? Was it this one? Was it from a low to a high? Maybe. What was it, man? Oh, it was the large one. That's right. It was this large one, this high to low here, wasn't it? Yeah. Getting above that will be nice for sure, just on the fib perspective. But I think getting above the daily close will be more important. You can see the daily close is actually just above there. So as important as the fib is, it definitely is. I think that's even more important. So let's adjust that one more time. Getting above 0.00528 is the number that we want to get before we get excited that we're moving up to 2 to 3 cents. Okay, but inevitably, I think it's going to happen. So just when is it going to happen? Is it going to be by the end of this month? If so, get above this line by the end of next week, and maybe even reach for your all-time highs by the end of next week, have an explosive move out of this. Sure, by the end of this month, we could see 2 to 3 cents. If not, if it's by the end of the month, or even if not by the end of the next week, if by the end of the next week we're not above this area, then likely it'll be sometime mid-March, late March that we achieve those targets. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope I didn't stumble too much. Hit the like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye-bye.